job and thinking you've figured it all out, and your boyfriend texts you that he's about to take off for his new life in Singapore. That while he's loved the time you've shared, he is looking forward to this adventure without attachments, and then disconnects his number. Nope, this is definitely not the place I should be. I wavered on whether I'd even come out to the Hamptons, because 5 of the other 6 people in the house are Justin's friends. We were supposed to make 6 and 7, and then my best friend Heather made 8. Now it's just Heather and me, with 5 of Justin's closest pals, and I'm quaking in my heartbroken boots. I know they'll be supportive, as they're all pissed he left without giving them notice as well. And I have the bulk of my money invested into this summer house, no matter if my ex-boyfriend helped me out with part of my share. But it was Heather who coaxed me from my sulking shell and told me to chin up because he wasn't coming back. I could either spend the summer eating takeout Chinese in my 5th-floor walk-up, or I could spend it sunning on some of the most classy beaches on the East Coast. When she put it that way, I knew I'd swallow my pride to at least get a tan. After cramming my suitcase shut and scurrying off to a seat, I huff out of breath when the whole saga is over. The rest of the bus ride is uneventful, a 3-hour journey that I spend most of with my eyes closed and head resting against the bus window. When we finally get to the drop-off point, I have to clutch my suitcase with 2 arms the entire way down the steps of the jitney to keep it from springing open. Thank God I thought ahead and ordered an Uber, because the thought of standing at this bus stop waiting for a taxi makes my already rising temper flare. And I'm not much of a hothead. It's just been a trying month. My junky bag gets thrown in the trunk, and then I fold myself into a neon green Chevy that's bumping Bob Marley. Everything's gonna be all right, sings to me through the radio, and I think maybe I'll take this as a sign. Maybe the universe has gotten over the bone it had to pick with me. The Uber comes to a stop at a red light, and the hum of a motorcycle engine coming up on the right of the car deafens me. I didn't even realize the residents of the Hamptons put up with motorcycles. I thought they'd be too noisy for the stuffy old geezers. And yes, I have a bone to pick with this beach town. Being a girl from a working-class New Jersey family who spent summers in a tiny rental of the ever-classy seaside New Jersey, I always viewed this as the place for people who stuck their noses up at people like my parents. I only agreed to summer here because Justin wanted to, and I would have done anything to please him. I could barely scrape together the money to buy into the shared pot of this rental, but I'd eaten crackers for basically the month of March so I could afford it. Even then, Justin had covered a bulk of my financial portion. Before he left for Singapore, he hadn't asked for that back or pulled his money, so I guess I could thank him for that generous parting gift. My vision slides over as the motorcycle pulls up alongside the Chevy I sit in, and the moment the driver's eyes glance at my tinted window, my stomach plummets through the floor of the car. I pray to all that is holy that this tint is thick enough that those midnight blue eyes, the color of inky purple lust, can't see me. Screw you, universe, because apparently that song was not a peace offering, but a trick to throw me off your evil scent. You see, no good stroke of luck would have Smith Redfield be the first familiar person I lay eyes on when I stepped foot in the Hamptons. Because the only thing worse than spending the summer without the boyfriend who just dumped you and literally took off for another country is spending it with his sex-on-a-stick best friend, who also happens to hate every single one of your guts.
Chapter 2. Smith. The Chevy next to me, the color of one of those highlighters that exploded on me in elementary school, is playing Bob Marley so loudly that I can hear it over the thrum of my engine. I chuckle, thinking of how out of place it seems in the middle of downtown Sag Harbor, but have to give props to the driver. Being on a motorcycle gives me a rare glimpse into the car activities of many, but not this guy. His windows are so tinted that I can barely see through the windshield, which is illegal. Not that I'd ever report anyone for that kind of shit. Do you, man, I think, before the light turns green and I'm off to the races.